All right. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. How's it going, guys? Happy Wednesday. Hashtag blame Brett in the chat. 8:32 a.m. I'm all in. Let's blame him. Welcome in, guys. How's everybody doing? Welcome, welcome. Happy Wednesday. Can you guys hear me and see me? How is everything? Is it functional? Are we functional? Are we live? Hopefully we're live. Can we look at Bitcoin today? Yeah, we can look at Bitcoin today. Sure. Jetson, welcome in, Jetson. Joya, Nightmare, Mando, welcome in, guys. Busy Bee, welcome in, Busy Bee. Welcome in, everybody. How is everybody doing? It's rainy. It's a rainy day in New York. It's a rainy, horrible day here in New York. It's super gray outside. Yes. All right, let's dive into it. So, big session today. The reason I say it every day, I feel like I say this every day, but big session today. Why? Because big levels, right? Market yesterday did some things. We saw some supply rejections come in the market. We saw supply reject on the S&P 500, right? You see that little supply rejection come down. And we're now back at this demand low here at 589. The question becomes here in SPY's chart is what do we do with SPY 589, right? That's the key thing. The key thing on SPY is what do we do with 589? Are we above it? Okay, long side trades. Are we below it? Okay, short side trades. We're going to talk about this 589 level on SPY today. We're also going to talk about the QQQ because I think the QQQ is the most clean chart this morning. You're seeing right now just an intense consolidation, right? The consolidation has been very much so the case. I had to ask myself, and I'll tell you guys this, right? I had to ask myself yesterday, why is it that every single trade I take is sub 20%? I'm making 20% here, 15% there, 10% there, 8% here, 16% there, right? Green trades, but why is it the fact that I am just not getting much continuation? Well, it doesn't take a genius to say, hey, look at this, right? We're just in a channel, right? We're just rejecting supply highs and we're supporting demand lows. That's all we have here going on the SPY chart, on the Qs chart, right, on the tech side. And that has been why my trades can't get beyond 20%. Now, right, the reason why is because what are we doing? What fundamentally our strategy, our system, what many of you guys trade the same way, most of us do the same thing, right? Is we're just trading some sort of trend-based strategy. Okay. Maybe you're trading some sort of bounce and reject opportunity trade, or you're looking for some sort of break and retest opportunity trade, which is a downside or upside trade, right? So the general idea though, the formation of any strategy though, is you have trend, right? Now, again, if you're a channel trader right now, this is your bread and butter. But for anybody else who's trading trend, we are having not a difficult time because it's not difficult, but it is just not much continuation, right? That is the key thing to know about today. So that's the key thing to know about this week so far. And a little bit last week too. It's been last week as well. Not just this week, but it's been last week plus a little bit this week. Anyway, we'll talk about the levels and Qs. We'll go over Tessie, a little bit of Tesla action today. What do you know? I traded Tesla again. I traded Tesla on Friday long. I traded Tesla Friday long side demand. I traded Monday short side rejection spots here at supply highs, and I traded Tesla again on Tuesday session. I traded long side over here above the breakout trade, got stopped on runners, then took the long side trade in demand and got a nice little reversion trade off demand. So that was my day yesterday in Tesla. Again, nothing big, right? But it was still very good entries on both sides, which is the key thing to do, especially when the market is in these consolidation ranges. Burmy Trader, thank you, Burmy. That is awesome, much appreciated. What flag is that? Is that the UK flag? What is that? That's a UK flag at the top left, and then in the middle, it's so it must be like a four. I don't want to say anything stupid. I don't want to say anything stupid. That is a UK flag at the top left, so it's obviously not the UK flag, but I don't know what flag that is. Let me know what country that is. It's Bermuda. Okay, that makes sense. Bermuda, because that was probably a colony, right, at some point. So that makes sense. That makes sense. Bermuda flag. Well, welcome in from Bermuda, Burmy. So let's move on. We're going to talk about AMD. We'll talk about AMD 116. We'll talk about the bull flag on AMD. We'll talk about Nvidia. And more specifically, we're going to talk about the SMH bull flag here, right? The 1 hour time frame bull flag. This is the big technical level. The big thing we're all watching for semis is, does this bull flag turn into any upside continuation? Let's watch and see what SMH does and how it impacts the rest of the chip sector. We're going to go over a little bit of UNH action, right? What did we say about UNH yesterday? Okay, just keep in mind, remember what we said yesterday, and we're gonna talk about the same thing we said yesterday, and we're gonna reiterate it today. Okay, and that's what we're gonna talk about in UNH. We'll talk about it in a little bit. We're also going to go over Apple, potential downside. Apple's pretty weak. We'll go over Amazon. We'll talk about the Amazon 200 level, and that's what we're going to do today's session. So let's dive into our economic data first, earnings reports, and then we'll go into our charts. So it is 8:37 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have 1,000 people here in the pre-market session. Let's dive right into it. So Wednesday, May 21st, today's session, we have some Fed speakers sprinkled in, right? We have some Barkin at 12 o'clock. We have 20-year bond auction. I thought there were more Fed speakers today for some reason. So the only one Fed speaker today. So one Fed speaker today at 12 o'clock. We have a bond auction at 1 p.m. And that's pretty much all we have. Important 10 o'clock data. So 10 o'clock data, Barkin at 12 o'clock, and then 1 p.m. bond auction. So we do have some data today. Watch out for the Atlanta inflation expectations. That's going to move the market. It's not going to be as big as regular Michigan inflation expectations, but it will have some importance. So keep in mind 10 o'clock data today. Just be mindful of that. Okay, Thursday session tomorrow pre-market. We have jobless claims. Be careful if you're swinging into that. But we'll talk about this data as we get there on that Thursday session. So let's move on. I want to go over earnings reports. So on the earnings docket, what we have for today's session, obviously, is we have some Target pre-market, TJX pre-market. Target reported some pretty bad earnings. So we'll take a look at we'll take a look at TGT today. It may actually be impacting some of those retail names. In the after hours today's session, we have Snowflake, we have ZM, Zoom, and then tomorrow morning pre-market we have BJ's. We have Advanced Auto Parts, AAP, and Lightspeed. So nothing too crazy on the earnings docket, but we'll go over TGT today to go over and see what's going on with the retail side of the market. Okay, so let's dive into it. Let's talk about the SPY chart, right? So on the SPY chart yesterday, let's quickly do a recap of what's going on here. And I will be honest with you, the levels that I have in my chart, there's a lot here. There's a lot going on in my chart. Usually my charts will be more simple. We'll have very simple and defined levels. Right now, it is simple and defined levels, but there are many of these simple and defined levels. The reason why is because, unfortunately, we've been trading in a very tight range for a period of time, okay? The period of time we've been trading this range has been from these highs over here, from May the 12th, right? May 12th, May 13th. And we've sort of been trading in this box ever since, right? A little bit of a box that's been structuring higher, right, in this overall box. Okay, and in the top supply of the box has been around 596, and the bottom side of this box has been really 589, and then obviously 583, which is that big break level from Tuesday. So the question becomes, what is the market doing? Well, the market's staying in a channel, okay, and in the 5-minute time frame, what you've been seeing recently has been this. It's been let's look for supply rejections off supply, supply rejections off supply, supply rejections off supply. And it's been, let's find where demand steps up, right? Which in this case has been sometimes 589, sometimes 586, and then maybe even 583. It's a very confusing session, right? Because you have all these levels all over the place. But here's what I would say, to keep it as simple as possible. Let's focus in on a few different levels here. The first level we must focus in on is 589. 589 is a really important level. Okay, if we lose 589, which we are right now pre-market, you're seeing us lose 589, I think we see some more bearish side momentum into 586. If we lose 586, we see bearish side momentum into 583. That is what I think happens today. Okay, if we lose this low here at 589, you could look for some structure down moves, some lower moves on SPY back into 586 demand. If we lose 586 demand, I think that's where things get more free flowing. Then we can free flow back into 583. The reason why 586 is so important is because it's that Monday after hours lows. that pre-market lows, right, that we produced here at Monday, the May 19th, which is the start of the week, right? So obviously we've simply just done what, right? We started this Monday with a big move higher, right? We reverted off demand and we're back at that demand, right? So let's not be short into 586. If we're going to short today, right, short 589, look for a downside move. And then be out by 586 because we don't know if 586 is going to hold. This is simply just the Monday's lows. This is this week's lows right here. We haven't done anything. The market hasn't gone anywhere, right? So look to see if we can break under Monday's lows. If we do that, back into 583. Now 583, in my opinion, is a really important level. If I were to rate the levels today of importance, I would say this is a 10 out of 10 level, 589. I would say 586 is probably like a 7 out of 10 level. And then you have our 583, which is another 10 out of 10 level. The reason why I'm rating these levels is because I want you to understand what's important and what's not so important. 583 is that breakout level. This is the start of when we entered the consolidation. I would argue we probably have demand step back in at 583. Okay, if the market does this today, we start trending lower. Oh my God, market's flushing, right? Don't misconstrue this. 583 is big demand. This is the 10 out of 10 level. This is the golden level, right? 583 is the golden level. If we can pull back to 583, you can look to see you can look for demand here at 583 to step up. So again, 583 demand, 589 supply, 586 demand, but let's look for it to break down. And if it does, we see 583. That's what I'm looking for today's session. In terms of resistance, where does resistance step up? Resistance steps up at 592. You have resistance there. Obviously, it's where we had resistance yesterday. If you go back into yesterday's session, look at the 5-minute chart yesterday, right? Where do we hold all day yesterday? What we did was we simply rejected off supply, right? And held 592, right? All day. And then finally broke down under that supply, right? The demand turned supply. Now, today's session, if we do see us rip today for whatever reason, look for this to reject or look for this to reject. Those are the two rejection points you're watching today. Again, 594.50 for supply, 592 for supply, and then demand, obviously, 586, and your little median level here, 589. This is a crazy pre-market analysis on SPY. This is absolutely diabolical. Why? Because I'm going over probably 10 different levels here. It's very confusing, but I hope you guys understand why it's confusing. The reason why is because we're going over levels like this. We're going over basically a range like this, and we're talking about levels inside the range. That's all we're doing, right? The upper bound of that range is simply 597. The lower bound is simply 583, right? But we're talking about levels in between the range, so we can trade that range. Again, confusing, but I want you guys to understand why it's confusing. On the QQQ chart, it's less confusing. The reason why here is because if you go to QQQ chart, you can see that there is just a very easy, beautiful consolidation, right? You can see consolidation, 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 right? Where must we go to? In my eyes, right, if we lose 517, which is where we're at right now, 517, 517, 517, right? You can see 517 being a very important pivot. We should see the move down lower, the structure lower into these lows over here around 513 to 512, right? This whole zone between 513 and 512 is where we go to if we lose under 517. So we may see an equal magnitude move down lower today back into that zone over here. But again, this is demand though, right? So if we move back into demand here at 513 to 512, be careful, right? Because it's demand below. And my big demand, the demand that I actually would like to go long at, is here. This is the demand I really would like to go long at. It's between 509 and 508. The reason why this is my golden level today is because it's that breakout level, right? We haven't tested this breakout level. If you look and see what's going on here on the Qs, we simply have done what? We broke out, and where is the retest? There is no real retest of demand here, right? The demand retest here at 509 has not happened yet. Therefore, we can watch the 509 retest for long side trades. Very simple, right? And on SPY's chart, conveniently, what's this high here? Monday, May 12th. Okay, Monday, May 12th here in Qs. What's the level here on SPY at Monday, May 12th? Monday, May 12th is 583 SPY, right? Monday, May 12th. Am I wrong here? No, I'm not. Okay, I thought I was wrong for a second. Monday, May 12th is 583 SPY, 583 SPY, 583 SPY, right? That's the level to watch out for, okay? Keep an eye at this level, okay? So if we do pull back to this 583 today, and for whatever reason, let's just say we see some sharp selling today, bam, all the way down to demand lows, do not be short back into this level here. 583, 583. Now, if you lose 583, that's where things get the gap fill, probably to 570 is likely. But again, 583 being a big tactical demand to watch out for. Big level. Fancy, welcome in, Fancy. I didn't see you here this morning. Thank you. You're crazy, Fancy. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. All right. So ES chart. On the ES chart. Yes, I know I skipped over ES's chart. I'm just reading the chat right now. ES chart. So on the ES chart, what we're watching here at ES's chart, obviously 6,000 ES was rejected off of on that Tuesday session, Monday to Tuesday, right? You saw 6,000 ES for reject. We've moved back down into our demand lows here around this 5925, right? So yesterday's session you saw basically supply rejection and back to demand here. Now the question becomes, do we lose 5925, which right now we are, right? We're seeing us lose these double top highs, right? See these double top highs here? This is important, right? The most important level you have to have in your chart is 5925 and 5871, 5870, right? The two levels, level 1, level 2. Those are the most important levels here in ES's chart. So if we lose this 5925, 5924 level, these Wednesday highs, the 14th, and the Tuesday highs, the 13th, if we lose these double top highs, I argue that we go down lower, right? And we should test this demand lower, which is 5870, and that again is that 583 on SPY, right? That's an 858. I'm not going to type it. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to type it out. This is 583 SPY, right? So if we pull back lower into 5870, right here in ES's chart, this is 583 here SPY, which again, if you guys want to correlate it to QQQ, you know that this QQQ level should be, again, it's not going to be perfect, but it should be that 509 level on QQQ, right? That's what it should be here in Qs. So those are the big things to watch out for today here on the ES chart. Again, 5925, 5870, and of course that 5976 level here in the ES chart. That's what we have going on here on the ES SPY and the Qs chart. So that's it for the indices. I'm going to move over to ETFs, but before that, I'm going to very, very quickly beg for likes. Guys, get the likes up, please. Please. We have 298 likes. We should get that up to 500 at least, please. Okay. All right. Tesla, on the Tesla chart, this was a chart and a half yesterday, right? This was a chart you had to be an absolute surgeon yesterday. But if you had the right levels, you knew what to do. This is the most important thing. If you came into yesterday's session with the right levels on Tesla's chart, you knew what to do, right? You said what? If we are above 350, long the chart, look for a breakout trade. Okay, that's what we did the first trade. I took longs here around 351, right? Got on longs at 351. I got a nice breakout trade to 355. I then sold my position here at 352, which it began failing my structure. So I got out before the breakdown. And then I made a little bit of money in this one. And then I came back in and said, you know what? What's going on here? Well, remember the level we traded off of 3 times in a row. Remember the level we talked about pre-market again and again and again. We said, hey, we had Friday, 343, which is where we longed it on Friday session. Okay, we longed this on Friday session with next week contracts. We then shorted it on Monday session. 343. Okay, we shorted it in 343 again on Monday session, and then on Tuesday session, which was yesterday, right? We went long here at 343. Now, granted, again, it wasn't a big trade. This was not a trade that was going to make you rich. But it was a good long opportunity, right? We longed it here at this 343, not 343, like around 344, with the stop loss under 343, and then got to move into 347. That was my day yesterday session. So long here, sell there, long here, sell there. That was my day yesterday on this Tesla chart. And granted, this was a very beautiful chart if you had the right levels, but you have to have the right levels. Again, on Tesla's chart, what are the levels on Tesla? The levels on Tesla are the same as they were yesterday, right? If you're going to trade this today's session, what you must look for is you must look to see if we can get a breakdown under that 343. If you can see a breakdown under 343, you can look for downside trades back to 332. That's it, right? Look for that to happen today. If we do break down under 343, look for shorts back in the 332. Look for that, right? Or if we break higher today, we see the market get strong today, look for a break and hold above 350 for upside trades back in 355. Those are the two things to watch out for today on Tesla's chart. Again, the same levels yesterday are applicable today. Above 330 for longs, below 343 for puts. Okay, let's move on. Yes, B-Cross. Thank you, B-Cross. You're awesome, man. I will go over that. Sure, absolutely. We'll go over Bitcoin and NQ as well. Sure, absolutely. I think we did Bitcoin yesterday, but we didn't do NQ. I think I forgot to do that. All right, let's move on. Let's go over our Nvidia chart. Nvidia. So on Nvidia's chart, Nvidia is still in a bull structure, right? Let's not confuse this. Okay, we must understand what is strong and what is weak. Right now, this is still a strong stock. Why? Because it's bull flagging, right? On the Nvidia chart, it is simply just bull flagging. As long as we are above this 130 level, we are in a bull flag. No questions asked. Okay. Now, granted, if we lose 130, right? If we lose the 130, we can look for the failure move down lower and the gap fill back. Not a gap fill, but this is not a gap fill. Let's not confuse that either. This is not between 131 and 123 is not a gap fill, but it is a very aggressive move up. And because it's a very aggressive move up, if we do lose 130, we should see equal magnitude move down lower back in 123. Okay, so watch for puts under 130. That's a valid trade today. But the grain of the market on Nvidia is still bullish, so you can look for long side trades above 136.50. Above 136.50 for calls, back into 140, right back into 140, right? Or you can look for puts under 130 for a move back to 123. Again, bull chart here, right? This is still a bull flag. Just because it's a bull flag doesn't mean we can't trade puts on it though. Puts would be valid if we break under the bull flag though, and invalidate that bull flag. Then we can look for shorts and move down lower back into 123. Again, this is a strong chart right now, looking mostly for long side trades above highs. Okay, on the AMD chart, same kind of deal here, right? AMD 113 is your level. 113 is your level. I would even argue probably now you should go through and use that. Joshua, you are a menace, man. But thank you very much. You're an absolute menace, Joshua. He says, "Here's the money for my SPY L." Oh man, guys, you guys are crazy. You're gonna make me feel bad. All right, so I feel now. I'm beginning to feel like a Tory trades right now. Now I'm feeling like Tory trades. Don't make me feel like Tory trades, okay? All right, 116. 116 break. If 116 breaks, then we can look for longs to 117, 118, really 118, really 119. What am I saying here? I'm all over the place. You can see 119. If we get above 116, we see 119. But if we do break below this 112 now it's 112, right? Let's adjust this level now because we produced a low here from 113 down to 112. If we do lose our Tuesday's lows, you don't really want to be long to start, right? Why? Because it's probably going to pull back to 110. So this is what I look out for today's session. Look for long side trades if and only if we break 116, right? Or look for short side trades under 112, right? But as of right now, the chart's still bullish. The chart is still in that little bull flag. It's still consolidating with a bull structure. And if you want any proof of this bull flag, on other names besides just Nvidia and AMD, take a look for a second and go over the SMH. What is the SMH doing right now? If you go to the 5-minute chart, let's actually be crazy here. Look at the 2-minute chart. What's going on here? You'd say nothing. What is this guy talking about? This is ridiculous. Nothing going on here. Okay, look at the daily chart. All right, let's get a look at the daily chart here. What's going on in the daily chart here? Well, on the daily chart, you can see we have a beautiful flagpole and consolidation here. Even the 4-hour chart, probably even better, right? The 4-hour chart, probably even more applicable, right? What's going on here in the 4-hour chart? You're seeing a downtrend break, uptrend coming in, okay? Uptrend has been here for a while now. Since 205 breakout, it's been uptrend, right? And so far, we've seen a little bit of some stagnation coming here in the SMH. It's been stagnating, right? But it's still what? It's still bullish with a big capital B. Why? Because what's going on here is simply just a upside move, bull flag, upside move, bull flag, upside move, bull flag, upside move. Is it different this time? Are we going to say it's different this time? Oh, it's different. No, it's not different this time, right? Unless it breaks 238, okay? Now, if it does this, okay, fuck, we know obviously it's different this time, okay? If that happens, okay, it's different this time. But right now, it's above 238. So the reason why I'm even mentioning the idea of both of flag plays on Nvidia, AMD, Avgo, right, these other semis is because what's going on with SMH, right? SMH is just simply bull flagging the 4-hour time frame, right? That's what's going on here on the SMH. So again, as long as this is above 238, we're bullish. Is there a trade here in the SMH? No, I'm not watching anything. I'm not watching a trade here, but I am just showing you guys why the SMH is still bullish. It's bullish as long as we are above this golden yellow zone right here. If we're above that yellow zone, we are bullish. Simple as that. Okay, simple as that. Avgo, obviously, probably same thing, right? Look, the charts are all the same here. All the same thing on AMD, Nvidia, Avgo, right? All the same thing. The question becomes, does it result in any continuation, right? Does this flag play result in continuation, or does it fail lower? We can scalp puts. Let's see what happens here on semis. Apple. Apple weak, right? So look at the names that are with the grain and names that are against the grain, right? Right now, chips are kind of strong. What is Apple? Weak. This is weak. Why is it weak? Why is Apple weak? It can't break above 214. This can't break 214. It hasn't done it yet. It's still weak, right? What can we do here? You can probably scalp puts in this, right? If this market flips weak today, this is going to be a much weaker name in the overall market. We can say, why can we say that? With the idea of ratio trading, the idea of ratio trading is understanding this. If you have a chart that looks like this, let's just say this is Tesla, okay? And you have SPY that looks like this. Okay, if SPY dumps to a bear market, right, Tesla still probably would be strong, but maybe not as strong, right? Strong, but not as strong. If SPY gets strong and looks like this, then Tesla's going to turn into this, right? So that's the idea of ratio trading. This Apple chart right now is looking like this. If SPY gets weak, Apple probably gets weaker, right? That's just the general idea here. Is it getting right? We don't know. But here in the 15-minute time frame, you can see that the level to watch out for on Apple is just simply that 205, right? Maybe 205 is your new level here in Apple. I have 207 and 205. If you're going to trade Apple, what you're going to do here is you do this. You say, I'm going to look for rejections here at 207. If I see us reject here at 207 off of that Tuesday level, right? I can look for short side trades there. I can look for short side trades under 205. Those are the only two trades I really like here in Apple, right? And again, is this high conviction? Maybe not, right? Maybe not. But if you see confirmation here at 207, go short. If you see confirmation here at 205 for a breakdown under our Tuesday's lows, go short, right? Go short. Look for the downside play back at 202. DJ Priceless, thank you, man. That's awesome, DJ Priceless. You are incredible. And also Sniper Chuck, you guys are crazy. I'm gonna go over these tickers, guys. Don't worry. I'll go over everything. You don't have to do that, but you guys are very kind. That is awesome. OXFN, I have no idea, to be honest with you. I have no idea. But let's go over NQ. I want to do NQ quickly, and we'll dive into some other charts. NQ, before I forget about it. 1 hour time from here in NQ, right? It's kind of the same idea as Qs, right? Look at this level here. Remember the May 12 level? Conveniently, the May 12 level is NQ 21K, right? NQ 21K is the level to watch out for. If we can get a pullback, snappy pullback to 21K, right? That's your upside trade, right? If we can pull back to these double top highs, and we should pull back there, right? The argument really should be that we should see this pullback, right? This is all BS over here, right? We should at some point see that deeper pullback in the market to NQ 21K, and that's where longs will come in, right? That to me would be what we would expect here in the NQ chart, right? 21K NQ, obviously supply high here, 21,550, right? 21,555. That's the level we have here, supply high. But the big demand below is this double top highs over here, May 12th, right? Which is also our 509 here, QQQ. Bitcoin, BTC USD. BTC USD, right? I mean, this is the bull flag, right? The bull flag, right? Highs produced here 107, 108. I think this is where you begin to take your foot off the gas pedal, right? I mean, I'm just going to say it, right? Obviously, if we break and hold above 107.5, if it just breaks out, then yes, you can look for the breakout, the continuation play back lower for a long side opportunity here. You can do that, right? That's very valid. But as of right now, the question you have to ask yourself, if you were long here, you were long there, you were long here, what do you think you're going to be doing back here? What should you be doing? You should be a profit taker, right? You should be a profit taker right now here on BTC, right? That's just what it is. That's just what it is. Nothing crazy, no bias, just simply level. Okay, that's all it is here on the BTC chart. Okay, UNH. So the title of this live stream is UNH Downgrade. UNH Downgrade. So that's why the market's moving. That's why UNH is moving down lower. So you had, I think it was HSBC. I think it was HSBC downgrade here on what's it called on UNH stock, right? HSBC downgrade, right? I don't know what the actual downgrade was, what their numbers are, but I'm not going to focus on their numbers. What I'm going to focus on is the chart here. What did we say yesterday? We said yesterday that you should be a profit taker, right, into high pushes. And if you can stomach a pullback into this zone here, then you should hold. And right now, you shouldn't be panicking because again, right now we are just doing what? We are forming the basis of an uptrend here. High, low, high, low, high, low, high, low. Okay. Now, this low formed here is almost equal to this low here at 300. My argument to you would be if this is a real uptrend, you really want to see it defend this 300 area. This zone here, you want to see it defend. If it can defend this zone, right, you can look for upside trades. Simple as that. And I'll make it more clear for us. The level that it must maintain is this 299 level. That's what I would give it to. Personally, that's what I would be giving it to. 299 is the level I'll be giving it to. If you want to even give it further to 295, you can do that. But 299 is the level I'd give it to, right? If you can hold 299, this is still bullish. Even you could even argue 285, right? Some people would even make the argument, hey, 285 is still level, where you can argue 285 is level. I would say the scenarios are this. For me, to be a bull here and maintain this with conviction, I'd want to see it form a low here and do this. That's what I'd want to see. Is that far-fetched? No, it's not far-fetched. If we lose 299, right, I think we go back lower to 285, right? That's the next big level, 285. And the question mark becomes, do we hold 285? I don't know. If we lose 285, right, then this is no longer a bull chart. That's the bear side trade. And we go lower. That's what it is. That's simply what it is. Those are the levels here in UNH. Unbiased, those are the levels, right? You're simply 299 support, right? The higher low formation, which is what we're forming right now. We have our 285 level, and we have demand lows here at 250. So if we lose this 285, right, then you don't want to be bag holding because I think we go down lower. I think we go back down to 250, even sub 250. Okay, that's what we expect here on the UNH chart. Again, this pullback was expected, right? This was expected. If you didn't expect this level, then you probably didn't. If you didn't expect this pullback, then you probably weren't here yesterday, right? Because this is what we spoke about yesterday. We must see if it holds now. If it can hold, long side trades. Okay, Amazon. No, we did not do Amazon. Amazon chart. Amazon weak, right? Remember we said what's strong, what's weak? Amazon's weak, right? The bull flag, not really that strong, right? You're seeing supply rejections come in, right? Under 200, we can scalp this or puts back lower into 195. That's it. That's all I have here in Amazon's chart. Weak chart, kind of similar to Apple. I don't really like longs in this until we can get above this level. If they can get above 207, right? A little break and retest type action. I can look for longs there. But until then, this is mostly bear side chart. So I can look for shorts back down under 205, 200, right? Those are the only things I'd watch here on Amazon's chart. Okay. Let's move on. Snowflake, yes, SNOW. Reminds me of the market, right? Reminds me of the market. Why does it remind me of the market? Because what's going on here? Consolidation, right? You have your highs and your lows. That's it. That's all we have here on this Snowflake chart, right? You just trade the channel. That's it. Supply highs, demand lows. PFE, Pfizer. Pfizer probably strong, right? Because it's moving with the healthcare sector, right? I would say at this point, Pfizer, your next big level is here at 24, right? This is your colossal level. We have our lows over here, and we have our breakdown level and the highs from here. So this chart really has to get above 24 or 5. If it can get above 24 or 5, that's where upside comes in. But until then, that's a big resistance. IBB, I'm in IBB equity. I'm in a lot of IBB shares right now. I don't know what it's going to do, but I think it looks strong to me. This looks like a nice chart, right? This is the overall biotech sector. And I really like this if we can get above 128. It's like my big pivot on IBB is 128 reclaim. This could be a really nice long-term trade. PLTR. 5-minute time frame here, PLTR. What's going on here, PLTR? On the PLTR chart, 125 over and over and over again. What did we say about PLTR over and over and over again? Every day we come in, we say the same thing here. We say 125. We say 125, right? 125 again. If we're above 125, look for bull side trades. It worked probably a dozen times yesterday. It worked probably a handful of times on Monday session. It worked once on Thursday. It worked once on Tuesday, May 13th. This has been the level. If we can maintain 125, look for upside. If you lose 125, look for downside. That's it. That's all we have here on this PLTR chart. 125 is your level. We went over AMD, guys. Not going over that. Let's do some small cap for a second. IWM, and we'll finish off with the IWM. This is our last ticker of the day, guys. 1 hour time frame here, IWM. Look at this consolidation and just understand why the market has not been giving you big moves. up and down and up and down and up and down. 210 and 206. Those are your levels here on the IWM, right? If you can lose 206, gap fill, move down lower. If you break above 210, upside trade in 215. Those are your big levels here at IWM. Guys, thank you all for joining in. Have a happy and a safe trading session, and I will see you guys all for live trading if you guys trade with us. Bye, guys.